Oh,
But I'm back. I
all
don't think
right.
I'm not going to keep you too long with this one because I think we're going to make a lot of the same choices
Yeah, I think
for
so. Yeah.
October films.
Hey,
And
short and
must
sweet.
see films. Yeah, must
I
see
know.
film.
I know
So
everyone loves and wants to hear us talk about anything and everything,
right,
um, because we're lovely people. But
that's right. I mean, just look
yeah,
at these mugs.
that's right. Or yes, or just listen to us on Unsane Radio, and that way we can imagine
Yes,
us looking way better than we do. So that's the reason why I don't have mirrors in my house.
exactly. I mean,
I know what
can't
I
stand
look
looking at
like.
them. Yeah, I don't need to remind myself. When I get depressed, I can do it on my own time. I don't need a
That's right. Yes,
reinforcement.
I don't. I don't need even more reasons to hate
People
myself.
people say to me, they go like, "Man, you've lost a lot of weight." I said, "Well, because I'm not eating fast food every day for the last 5 years. I had
Yeah.
to cut all that out. So obviously, all that fat processes, I'm not going to have that." But with
On
that, on that happy note, why don't
that
we
happy note,
talk about a
let's
fucking horror show? There's a horror
yeah.
show
Oh,
for
that's
you.
all going in in the beginning of the show. Everyone in the world's gonna know about it now.
Yes, my bad feet.
That's right.
Fuck you, chop top. We'll chop off your fucking pubic ankle.
Yeah. You're gonna have people lining up. I'll chop them off.
Yeah, yeah. That'll
Volunteering.
be a hell of a line. We'll have more fucking viewers based on that.
We'll make it an episode
Yeah.
live.
We'll
It'll
have
be like like
ailments part two.
yeah. It'll be like what's his face who did the Al Capone's vault. Um
Oh
oh
yeah,
fuck, what was his name?
Ricardo Rivera,
Or
Geraldo Rivera. Yeah,
Geraldo? Yeah, Geraldo.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think yeah.
Nothing there.
Yeah, man, we watched that live. Like, come on, Al Capone's
Come
vault.
on, let's see what. Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's get to it then. Let's
Yes,
do
sir.
you ready? All right.
Yep.
This
Wonderful.
is Carolina from My Skeptical Minds. And Michelle. And you are watching Horror Metal Show.
I am Montag, master of illusion. What goes up must come down, but not always.
Hey, this is Chop Top, and it's Halloween time. Here we go.
And you are watching and listening to Heavy
Halloween.
Metal Horror. Yes, yes. It's that most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it's not Christmas, it's Halloween. Yes, Halloween. Whew, good stuff happening. We're getting close to it, kids, getting close to Halloween. It's October, which means it's time to watch something good every night of the month.
Mhm.
If you can handle Hallmark for 2 months, you can handle Hellmark for 1 month. I should trademark that. Patent it,
Yeah.
trademark Montag.
Yep.
Well, tonight we're
Come
going to be talking about the Halloween must-see movies, or movies that are must-see for Halloween time. Um, so I think maybe we should kind of set up the concept of what makes a good Halloween movie to you, Chop Top.
Oh, I think a bit of suspense, a good story. I think a score is really underrated. You know, as far as you have a good score that goes along with the unsettling scenes that you're about to see and everything makes it really good. I think that characters that you actually care about, not totally tossed away, thrown away, which you see a dime a dozen so many horror films for the last 30, 40 years. You know, so I think those things combined make a great Halloween or October film. And what else can you say about it? Whether you don't need a lot of. I don't think you need a lot of gore to make a great horror film. I think you have a compelling script, you have characters you care about, and I think a score that fits the unsettling nature of the film. I think those are three trademarks for me.
All right. I love all that. Um, for me, the yeah, atmosphere. I want an atmospheric movie. I want something that's moody. I want something that's unsettling. I want something that's creepy. I want to feel something, and not.
Yeah,
I want it to be earned, not cheap ass jump scares.
yeah,
I'm a fan of a jump scare, no problem.
Right.
But if
Overdone.
that's all you do, then you really have a really shitty movie and a lazy fucking writer. Do
Yeah.
better. I really like this idea of suspense, also the feeling of dread
Yeah.
that comes with Halloween. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a lot of blood, but the palpable feeling of terror is really helpful. And we have seen so many horror movies, it's really hard to feel anything anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the
Yeah.
fucking depression. I don't know.
We just,
But
yeah,
I
exactly.
just
We've
watch
been,
them like, yeah, I
we're desensitized or depressed
it
by our own lives or our
it could
faces.
be, or we've
Our
seen,
tone.
yeah, it could be, yeah, because I don't. The last couple horror movies that I watched, I'm like, I felt nothing. I watched The House of the
Yeah,
Devil. I'm like, I heard people talking about, ooh, it's so good. No, it takes so fucking long to get anywhere. It's like
it
a nice
does.
homage to the 70s. I'm like waiting for it. I'm like, but they are broadcasting it a mile away. Hey, it's gonna be a satanic sacrifice. I'm like, yee, boy, nothing new here. And
Yeah.
I also watched Late Night with the Devil. I'm like, ah,
Oh,
do
you
some
didn't care for
like
that?
I no, I was just like I
Oh,
I'm waiting for it to do something interesting that I have not seen. That I
I thought
was
it was a nice twist on
It was
the
a nice
late.
approach. It looked like the
Yeah.
70s, but again, it was the whole movie is set on that set. You have what's going on, and
It's still
oh, here's the interview.
compartmentalized.
It's just like, okay, I'm watching a talk show, and when the thing does happen, it's like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected, but it doesn't really do anything interesting or new or scary. It's like, oh,
Okay.
okay, for me.
Great. Fair
So,
assessment.
but
Yeah.
and ultimately, the movie has to be fun. It has to be a fun watch experience in some way, whether you gauge fun by being terrified or just laughing at someone getting killed, like we have done so many
So
times.
many times.
We're
Yeah.
watching, I had that scene from The Omen where the photographer gets his head cut off, or Omen 2 with the truck,
Yeah, let's rewind it. Yeah. It's the slow
exactly.
mo it.
Yes, so many good
That's
things.
our minds. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. So that's where I'm at. So I will start with the first one and just get it out of the way. Halloween. The quintessential Halloween, John Carpenter, I think is one of the best horror films around, and it's a rare example of the what they call the slasher genre, because it's not really a slasher film. It's more of
Yeah.
a psychological a thriller, it's a suspense movie. And it's almost bloodless, you know,
Absolutely.
and this, well, we're going to do another show down the road about the sequels and the remakes, and we can talk about all those. But this first Halloween, I think, is still stands out 45 years later,
Yep.
as being is something that I can watch, and my grandma loved to watch. And it's like a gentle horror film in a way compared to like Saw, or no, not Saw,
Yeah.
Saw 3. Um,
Yeah.
but it's a master of suspense. It is really, really well done.
That's on my list too, Montag. And I remember very fondly growing up, Channel 43 WAB, every Halloween, they played Halloween. And that movie scared me to death. The edited, it scares you. It's still unsettling to this day. And I think it's Carpenter's iconic score that underscores everything. And then you have it, um, Michael Myers, my favorite horror icon all time, but just some of the scenes where he's looking across from the house, and then the score kind of comes in and everything like that. And then the drum beat is
Hmm.
kind of constant. And you're just like, it brings you into that whole moment. It involves you. Jamie Lee Curtis, what a superb job. Was one of the first scream queens, maybe
Hmm.
the scream queen known for.
Yeah,
And
her and Leanna Quigley.
yes, and I think that yeah, it's just the intensity of it, the tension, the score, the direction. It's a perfect horror film, and it's a classic. You have to watch Halloween during
Yeah,
October.
yeah,
Have to.
it's so much
So
fun. Okay, your next, your first pick.
I I'm going to go with the original Omen.
Oh, nice. Hmm.
Yes, I think
Damien,
what
it's all
yeah,
for you, Ma Chop
uh,
Top.
yes, you know I think, but you have that outstanding cast. I think the nanny is exquisitely
Yeah,
fucking creepy in
yeah.
that. And she scares me a lot more than a lot of other things in the movie. But I do believe the scene in the cemetery, I think we talked about before, with the dogs, and they're uncovering to see the child was there, and obviously a stage set maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
man, that's just so palpable. It
Yeah.
is so terrifying.
Well, the jackal, right? The
Um,
jackal bones.
the
Yeah.
jackal, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't just it's a perfect storm. The script, the acting, the cast, the score, every you can't ask for more than that. So, and it's terrifying.
Yeah,
Still scares me to this day.
really effective. All these years later, it still stands up, just like Halloween. It's really, really good. Well done. It's a product of its time. So for those of you who were
Sure.
born past then, you may think it's a little slow, but we grew up in that era, and we're fine with the slow burn.
Yeah.
Because this one delivers, and it was it'll seem a very gentle horror film for those of you who've never seen it, perhaps, and it is. Again, it's about suspense, and and it's so well effectively done, and builds on itself. Yeah, it is a really
Again, not
spooky.
a lot of gore,
No,
blood,
no, there's some
but
violence, but not a lot of gore.
sure. Yeah.
Even in the scene where the guy gets his head cut off, there's not a lot of blood, you know.
No.
So, but yeah, the Omen is fun.
Yeah.
Um, okay, my next one, I'm gonna go with The Witch. Very moody, atmospheric movie. Uh,
Creepy.
very creepy, and another slow burn with
You know,
with a nice payoff. Um, it's about this, the tone of the film is bleak, and
yeah.
there is a general, like, palpable sense of this being kind of unsettling, and something's off, and
There's
gradual
that,
build of
that sense of
madness.
dread throughout the whole film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really effective in doing that. And the I forget the girl, Anya Taylor Cole,
Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah.
Joy. I knew she was going to be great when I saw this movie. Like, she's going to be a star. She's going to be really good, because this, I think, was her first big role, and she's done all kinds of things, and she's really great in that. And the film just looks really, really good. And
Yeah,
again,
she's
it's
got a
simple.
she's got a tremendous range as an actress. She's real good.
Yeah. And I really like the feel of the movie, because it feels like something that, like, that kind of puritanical look, something that would have been coming out of England from this in the 1970s, like Blood on Satan's Claw or something like that.
Right.
It's got that feel, but it's much better. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So there's my next pick.
My next pick will be John Carpenter's The Fog. I think that talk about another atmospheric, dread-based. The score has a lot to do with it, but just practical effects in it are so effective. It's so freaking creepy, and you're like, I don't know about you, but you're glued to your set the whole time watching it.
I
You
love The
can't
Fog.
take your eyes off. Yeah,
Right. One of my
I
favorite.
think I think it's so underrated too, Montag. I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people give it much appreciation that it deserves.
Yeah. And another nearly bloodless horror film.
Yeah,
And it's the palpable building of suspense. I think Hitchcock would have loved Carpenter's movies
I
because of
think
the
so.
suspense. He
I
probably would
do.
have said, "You're giving too much away at the beginning, um, not making the audience wait long enough." But yeah, but it's just the creepiness of it, and as the story unfolds, you learn, because you do get those moments of horror. And the first time you see that ghost ship, I was like, oh,
Oh,
like, that is fucking creepy.
yeah.
This is a real set, practical effects are there, and you see those real quick shots of when the pirates do, wreak their vengeance. Like, oh no, that's great.
Like
Um,
when they're first aboard it, the first shot it's coming in. They say, "What is that?" The fog, and
mhm.
they come on board their ship and they
Yeah,
attack those other sailors, and just like,
yeah,
oh man, kill them. It's just like
really
that is so
creepy.
creepy. And
There
then, of
was,
course, the great intro speech by
yeah, John Houseman,
John Houseman,
which was
fantastic.
mimicked in a movie called Sorority Sisters versus Sasquatch.
I know
I
that.
remember who made that again?
Oh,
Oh boy,
world famous
there was
director,
world famous.
and
Yeah, he made some really, really good movies.
really good movies.
Um, yes, the 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 drowning pool.
And again, Jamie
A
Lee
nip in the
Curtis
air.
is in
Yeah.
it. Adrian Barbeau. It's got a great cast.
Oh,
Um, Hal. What's his name?
Hal. Yes, Hal.
Yeah,
I know you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
And then don't forget
Jamie Lee
Psycho.
Curtis' mom.
Yeah, Psycho.
Yeah, Janet Leigh.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
So it's just it's well
Holden, William
rounded.
Holden.
William Holden. Yeah. No, Hal
Hal,
Holbrook.
Hal Holbrook, same thing.
There we go. I got it. Maybe, yeah,
We're getting
but
there. We'll get
we're
there.
gonna. But it, yeah, that's a must see. I
Yeah.
think
No,
as
I
well.
agree. I agree. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and for all those reasons, it's just a fun movie. Just to watch it.
Yeah.
And it looks really really good. My next pick is Babadook.
Oh yeah.
The Babadook. God
Scary
damn it. I
film.
remember watching it with you for the first
Yeah.
time. Like,
First time.
fuck,
We're
Jesus.
like,
Uh,
yeah,
yeah. This is a really creepy movie.
yeah,
And it does the creeps really well because you see the little things like when the kids looking at the neighbor across the street and in their house, and then the Babadook's like behind her, like it's not hitting you over the head. It's like
yeah,
subtle.
yeah.
You see the Babadook shadow on somewhere or something. It's like, yes, it's very like J horror in that they are not beating you over the head with it, but they're gonna do something in the background or something. You're gonna see it. It's gonna be
Right.
subtle, but it's gonna be building up to this dread. And it is a hard movie to watch because that kid, his behavior is just like, oh
Uh,
fuck.
and it's
But
like I want to take him, throw him out of the fucking car.
yeah,
But then how he turns around
yeah, and
and he actually becomes almost like the hero of the film.
yeah,
Ugh.
and then when you realize at the end what the Babadook is for and like why it's there, it's like, oh, okay, there's a depth to this that surprised me. Like, it's
Yeah,
not just a
there's
typical
a
monster in the
symbolism.
closet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
symbolism to it for sure.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, really impressive.
Right.
Really impressed by that. It was like, okay,
On my list too.
mm-hmm,
Um, Now my next one, we'll both agree, The Exorcist, the original.
yeah,
Just,
yeah,
just, yeah. What can you say? Our most terrifying film of all time for both of us. And, and I think at the time, because it touched on, we done a whole thing on Exorcist and stuff. I'm not gonna
mm-hmm.
go here, but in the '70s, when Catholic religion was at the height and everything like this, and it sickened people in audience because nobody had seen anything like this brought to screen. And still to this day,
The
very
pre the
terrifying.
makeup effects are fantastic.
Yeah, they still last. They
Still
still really
terrifying.
work.
Yeah, and then you hear all the abuse that went on the screen is really sad, like Linda Blair and her back getting
Yeah,
broken. It's like, oh, come
yeah.
on, man, that's terrifying. Yeah,
And the
that's
deaths on the set,
yeah, it's
afterwards.
just
Yeah.
uh
I think it was
yeah.
Burke, the director, that got hit by a car or had something. An accident
Oh,
happened
really?
there. Forget what.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. Burke Jennings. But yeah, great cast, great story.
Creepy.
Tubular Bells,
And
the
and
score in there.
yeah, and there's much more to the story than just Reagan. Father
Yeah,
Karras's
yeah.
struggle with his faith.
Yep.
We talked ad nauseum about this, how much we love it. My one
Mhm.
piece of advice: watch it late at night by yourself. That's my
With
one
the
piece
lights
of
off.
advice with the lights
Hmm.
off. Yes,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one home. That's right. You'll never go to the bathroom again, or just sit there right there on the couch and just fill that up. Yes, very nice. My next pick is Midsommar.
Mm.
And again, another creepy, moody, atmospheric film. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Don't read anything about it. Just go right into it. And
All shot in daylight too. One of the very few horror films ever shot in daylight.
oh,
Well done.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. And this one has a lot of symbolism in it. So when you go back and rewatch it, you can see the breadcrumbs, the trail. Like, oh, okay, here's the
Hmm.
symbol. Oh, I see this here. Hear this here. And spoiler alert, I'll give you a second. If you've not seen it, go back and watch it. Spoiler. Okay. If it's very much like a modern retelling of like The Wicker Man, in that regard.
Yeah.
It's similar to that. So if you've seen The Wicker Man and you like that, you're gonna see this. This is gonna be a lot more graphic.
Got to
And
be a cultural sacrifice.
yeah, and
There you go.
there's a
Really.
detached nature to it. The Wicker Man looks like it was made in the 60s, 70s. It has that look This one just has a cold, detached camera, kind of like, and when you see these people doing it, like, oh fuck, when the guy like dives off the cliff, it's like, oh Jesus
Oh,
Christ. Like, oh, he
yeah,
did
right at
it.
the beginning, you're like,
Okay,
"Are you
yeah.
fucking kidding me?"
So yeah, and it's a natural buildup. And again, great payoff. It's a very creepy movie. Yeah, there's my next pick.
Okay. I'm gonna pick Insidious, the first
Mhm,
film
mhm.
series. That movie really creeped me out. I want to say because it's not just about, a haunted house kind of thing, your same old rehash. It's about the boy being actually haunted. It's astral plane projection. It's him going out of his own body into this other dimension. And this demon has kind of a hold on him, keeps him trapped. And the father goes in and tries to save the boy. And this demon is one of the most interesting, different kind of looking demons I've ever seen. But he's still terrifying, still creepy, still very effective. So yeah, Insidious, the first film, is on my list as well.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. I um
Yeah,
I started watching through those. They kind of begin running along the same storyline. I mean, they kind of repeat, they kind of
sure.
like revisit the storyline over and over and over again. It's like, oh, okay, like the paranormal activity kind of thing. It's like, okay, we're just doing the
Been
same
there,
thing.
done it, seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's not a whole lot of new stuff in the sequels, but yeah, that first one is definitely creepy.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, my next pick is The Ritual, which I really I just came across this a couple years ago. I love the
Really underrated
feel
movie.
of the film, the atmosphere of the film, the build, and it just a it it you could guys in the woods, you get these sense of like what Blair Witch did very nicely, except this is not first person shaky cam garbage, but build up this sense of place and scene and casually build up, ratchet up the dread and the suspense.
Hmm.
And the payoff is quite interesting and unique. And I was really quite surprised with this. Like, oh, this is a really surprising movie, but I really loved how we get to where we go, and moving along. It's a really effective film. And I'm
Absolutely.
trying not to give too many spoilers or details in case you've not seen these.
Right. I'm gonna give a little love to Asian horror here. I'm gonna go with Train to Busan.
Oh, nice.
I think that, very compelling zombie film. In that we talked about before and nauseum about Korean or Asian child actors.
hmm
There's just a draw of emotion that tears your heartstrings out. Just something I
The
don't know.
Korean horror, they use a lot of emotion that you don't often see in other horror films. It's
Yeah,
not just horror.
here you
You
have a
see,
zombie film that has
yeah,
drama.
yeah,
Usually
and
zombie
and
films, if you
heartache
don't
and
give a
people,
shit, it's like,
yeah,
yeah,
the
people just
human
don't care
cost
about it.
and sacrifice, and
Right.
yeah, it's
So it's
very
outstanding, but that is yeah, it's an A-list movie. So
nice.
check that out.
I'm gonna go temporarily here to a couple movies that are a little more on the lighter side, um, and I'll just mention them, um, you know, kind of as a group, and we can talk about them. Beetlejuice,
Hmm.
the Addams Family, and let's see, what's the other one that was kind of light? I think The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think those what we have here is this nice blend of comedy and elements of horror. And the Addams Family, I love the TV series anyway.
Yeah.
And the movies are really faithful to the Charles Addams comics as far as the
Mhm.
tone, this really dark. And you still have the elements of what makes the family great that was started in this series, that the family loves each other, accepts one another for their differences, supports one another relentlessly. You know, Beetlejuice, and I have not seen the new one, but I'm
No,
looking
me
forward to
neither.
seeing it sometime. Beetlejuice is just one of those great, fun, silly,
Yeah.
quirky movies that have those wonderful elements of the horror, the comedy, silliness, and I could not ask for anyone else. I don't want anyone else to play Beetlejuice. It's Batman. Batman is always going to be
Yep.
Beetlejuice.
Michael Keaton is always going to be Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's great. Um, and then the same thing with Nightmare Before Christmas, we have the same director doing that one as well, and that one is just beautifully animated, and the score is amazing. And we have this element of multiple holidays, Christmas and Halloween, which sometimes those are really nice to bring around doing
Yeah,
horror films with both, but those are three movies that are a little bit lighter in tone, that have elements of comedy. I think that transcend, like, because you don't want, if you don't want relentless horror, good, put on something like that. No one's gonna,
right.
like, Beetlejuice is just always entertaining, you
No, I
know.
do. I
So,
agree with those picks. I'm going to add to that little
okay.
on the side there. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Oh,
I
nice.
think that is a must October movie.
Yeah.
You got the classic Universal, monsters in there. You got the comedy of Abbott and Costello.
Hmm.
It's just a movie I can watch and a sense of nostalgia and fun anytime I can put it on. I
Yeah.
just love that film.
And they did
Um,
they did other Universal encounters like the Mummy and things like that, and the Invisible
yeah,
Man. But
Dr.
this,
Jekyll.
yeah, this
Yeah,
one's the best one of the bunch, though.
absolutely.
Yeah, so much fun. And while you're here, I'll just go ahead and say Universal was on my list, especially like House of Frankenstein, because you have all the monsters here,
Yeah,
and Universal, as we've mentioned, has a look, an atmosphere. Those sets that are nighttime with the fog and the wood sets, like the Wolfman, the interior sets of, like, when you see Son of Frankenstein. Oh my
yeah.
God, it's just gorgeous. And
The
Frankenstein itself,
gothic feel, which
huge. Yeah,
obviously influenced Hammer and stuff too, because Hammer
yeah,
used their sets over and over, but it still looked beautiful in
yeah,
about every film they did. So
yeah. And those are really, just classics of classics, and that's what we kind of cut our teeth on. I mean, I was like, I think I was probably 4 years old, 5 years old when I first saw my, like, Hammer, like the first
yeah,
Christopher Lee, scared the fuck out of me.
me too, man.
um
Horror
but
of Dracula. Yeah, I was
yeah,
like,
I'm like, I still had nightmares about it for years.
yeah,
um but I still wanted to watch it. I still loved it. But
oh
the
yeah,
Universal stuff, I can still hear the sign on, and I see the plane kind of flying around the spinning globe, you know, and watching it on Houlihan Big Chuck,
yeah,
yeah, just class. And it's nostalgia, it's comfort food. And if you have Roku or another kind of thing, there's a Universal channel, you can watch Universal stuff 24 hours a day.
wow,
So, yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it was pretty
Um,
awesome.
Nice segue, and I'm going to go into the Hammer thing. If I had to pick
Mm.
one, and it's very difficult, but one iconic Hammer horror film, it would be The Horror of Dracula. To
Mm,
me, we talked many times. Christopher Lee to me is the iconic Dracula. Period.
yeah, yeah.
His presence, his height, uh, the way he looked, his eyes when they were blood red, and back
Hmm.
then the effects, his fangs looked off. It just everything screamed authenticity. They got the gothicness feel from the Universal films and their sets and everything else. The state, uh, clothes and everything, set design. It just amazing. A scary film, still effective to this day,
Hmm.
and he still to me is the iconic Dracula. I know people say, "Oh,
Yeah.
Bella was," but my God, that 31 Dracula is so fucking boring. I sorry, God, it's a
It's
sleep fest.
okay. It's
Sorry.
all right. You can get it out. It's all right.
I mean, they had great like when they're inside the castle and everything. You
Yeah,
did
there are some great
Universal,
moments,
some great moments,
yeah, in Renfield.
but
It's, I mean,
but overall, it's like
Hammer has a different feel. It is gothic, but it is at times every bit as plotting and deliberately, it feels slow.
yeah,
When we were kids, but now we've gotten older and we've seen more movies and we're whores, so things are a little slow for us. But to me, it's like different tastes, like, two
yeah,
different things. Like, they're both great at what they do.
yeah,
Universal, if it wasn't for Universal doing those movies, there wouldn't be a Hammer. And so, but
absolutely.
yeah, no, I agree. They're just different slices. So sometimes I
You want
really
to
root for Hammer.
check
It's
out some other ones, in Hammer, guys. Check out
Curse of
uh
Frankenstein, The
Curse of
Mummy.
Frankenstein, The
Yeah,
Mummy.
yeah.
Um,
You cannot
what
get
was the
much
other
better
one?
than
The it was the second one of the Mummy series that we like a lot
was
too.
it.
I forget the name of it.
Was it Curse
Curse
of
of
the
the Mummy.
Mummy's
Yeah.
Tomb, something like that?
Curse of the Mummy too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
outstanding.
and that's a slow movie, but it has some really good
Yeah.
moments. It takes a long time to get there. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. I want to bring in two sci-fi movies here that I think are really also kind of very spooky. The first one is No One Will Save You. I don't know if you've
I
heard of
haven't
that or
seen
not.
it yet.
That is really, really good. I don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to
Okay.
spoil it for you. It's worth the watch.
Right.
It's a girl alone in a house, like in this town, and something something happens. I'm not going to say because I
Okay.
want you to see it. But I was like, ooh, okay, they're building up to something here, and this is really. I think the first half is better than the second. Um,
Okay.
because once you find out what's going on, then it kind of takes off a different direction. But the first half has this palpable sense of nightmarish kind of quality, really spooky. You know, in a kind of dread. And then the second one is Nope, Nope, Nope.
Oh
You
yeah.
seen it?
Great
Really,
movie.
really great movie. We did an episode on Unsane Radio about this. Such a surprising movie. I had went into it with
Yeah.
knowing nothing, and going, oh my God, this was just so good and creepy and
Great
effective.
acting in it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to see the ship, like that was like goosebumpy kind of stuff.
Yep.
Really, really good stuff. So if you like a little bit of sci-fi and with your horror, then I totally want to recommend those two.
I'm going to go off that and segueing on your sci-fi kick there to 1979's Alien
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
and the original The Thing from Another World.
Nice.
I think that well, 1979's Alien, what can you say? The xenomorph is so iconic to this day. Nobody designed anything like
Mm-hmm.
H.R. Geiger,
Yeah.
designs and stuff. And it's still effective, still scary.
Yeah.
It's
Really good.
still it's a slow burn, 79, just at the cusp, going to 80s.
But it doesn't take too
But
long to get there. I mean, like
no, it
it
doesn't.
builds up. The suspense is there long enough to figure out what's going on. But then once it happens, Kane, then from there on out, it gets kind of
Right on.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And then the thing from another world, what can you say about that?
Hmm.
It's nostalgic. You
Hmm.
love that kind of double talking, that quick pacing and the
Yeah.
verbiage that they use.
People are
Um,
talking over one another. It's a
yeah,
hallmark. They're finishing
it's
other
so
sentences. Yeah. Beautiful.
right, so effective, but there's creepiness to it, and there's a
Hmm.
creepiness to the music as well.
Yeah.
The music is subtle on it, but it's creepy and effective, and
Hmm.
it's just so I don't know. It's just one of those we talked many times. You can fall asleep to it. It's just so nostalgic.
Yeah.
It's
I love it.
heartwarming. It's because it brings you back to that kid kind of thing. And
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
but yeah, wonderful.
And it's a really quickly paced movie. It's a very efficiently edited movie. There's not wasting a lot of space on things unnecessarily, but there's moments where it breathes, and that's
Mhm.
really necessary. Yeah. And we will talk about the remake of that in a show coming down the road.
Yeah,
Um, I want to talk about the creep factor. Creepy as fuck movies now, a couple of them. I think It Follows is a really creepy movie, as well as Smile. I
yeah,
think those two are kind of similar in respect to like the structurally, the story wise.
yeah.
Um, Both wildly entertaining. And Smile did something to me that I can't remember the last time it happened. Maybe when I saw Exorcist 3 in the theater, Smile made me jump back in my seat. The moment where the woman's in the car and she's like waving, and the other woman comes out of the house and walking toward her. Yes. I'm like, oh fuck me. It's like hanging upside down. I'm like, oh, I cannot unsee that. I cannot unsee that. I'm like,
Right.
that I did not expect. I did not expect that. And
No.
I'm like, fuck me. That made me jump that one. I'm like, okay, I felt something. And because the movie was really effective and those smiles are
Yeah,
creepy, you know. Yeah, yeah. Love those movies.
great choices. I'm going to go with a little beaten path here, but I'm going to say um, I like the Conjuring universe. Not all films are equal, but I will say out of Conjuring, I think Annabelle Creation is pretty terrifying. That movie is just I don't know. It is equally scary. It's well paced. It's dark. There is jump scares, but here they get you. It's terrible. It's not
Mhm.
like you just like the Conjuring, the first two. It's like okay, after the first one, you're like okay, and that was very successful and well
Mhm.
deserved. The second one, you're like okay, I get it, but then you're like it became the trope without the whole
Yeah.
series and the
Yeah.
universe. But
'Cause there are 2 movies about
creation, I
Annabelle. Yeah.
yeah, but the creation is just out of the Annabelle series, the three of them, that
Oh,
is a
3.
terrifier.
Oh, there was
Yeah,
right, Annabelle, and then Annabelle Comes
Annabelle
Home.
creation and Animal comes home. Yeah,
Yeah, which I
but
thought was pretty
creation, I
good,
think, yeah, yeah.
but
I
Creation, yeah.
just think creation just that scared the hell out of me.
Mhm.
So I think that's very effective.
The scene in Annabelle Comes Home when they're pulled over, the car kind of stops over and they break
Oh
down and they're by
yeah,
the cemetery. The scene was
that
really
was
creepy. You
yeah, it
know,
was.
you see the people kind of moving up as every time she's looking, they're closer. Like, okay, that's good. You got me there. Um, I want to go with a trio of classic horror films that I think go well together. One we're going to be talking about next time on Unsane Radio. The Haunting, House on Haunted Hill, and 13 Ghosts.
Oh,
I
great choices.
I think we got House on Haunted Hill and 13 Ghosts together. Those are so much fun because we have um, the House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, and Vincent Price is a little bit of tongue-in-cheek humor, some
Yeah,
definite kind of almost like a jump scare with the old lady, and then a creep scare as she kind of floats along.
yeah, it's
But they get this,
creepy.
yeah, they got the Richard Castle like titulation. There's a little bit of that schlocky, like tongue-in-cheek, like gonna get you here. Um, and that's what I really love about House on Hill. And the performances are fun, and and then the same thing with 13 Ghosts. 13 Ghosts has a little bit more humor.
Yeah,
Um, and which is great. But I liked it when you went to the theater, they gave you the glasses with two different colors, and I said, if you don't believe in the ghosts, look through this color. If you do believe in the ghosts, look through the other. Because if you do believe in the
yeah,
ghosts, the lens like blocked them out. But if you didn't believe in the ghosts, it would show you. I thought that's funny. Um,
yeah.
yeah, 13 Ghosts, and we'll talk about the remakes of these in our next
Sure.
in another episode. But that is such a fun a little bit lighter movie, and those ghosts, the effects when you finally see them, they're really kind of fun. And
Yeah,
with the lion tamer with no head, you got the flaming skeleton, like, oh, um really kind of silly. But then we have the genuinely terrifying The Haunting. uh
yeah,
Another great cast, wonderful
great.
sets, this gothic mansion. And this movie does so much with just sound and suggestion. You know, you
And I think camera direction. Yeah,
yes, yeah,
really does
especially
a
the
lot.
scene where the women are in the bed, and then they hear that pounding on the wall.
Yeah,
Or might see something bend in, but it's all pounding, and then watching the camera kind of follow it and their reactions to it. Um, yeah, The Haunting.
tremendous
What
film.
a really, really good movie. So those I think could be like, if you're going to watch a classic trio of classic horror, that would be the three that I would pick.
Speaking of some classic horror going to 80s, I'm going to speak Evil Dead, the
Mm-hmm.
original.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I've told it before on our
Yeah.
show. You introduced me to that series. I watched it at your place in BG. You're up there, and it scared the hell out of me.
That
First
first
time
one,
I was like,
yeah,
it was so
that
unsettling.
was like
So
the litmus test. Like, if you can handle Evil Dead, you can handle anything.
yeah, yeah. And I think the other one we watched, Luther the Geek. I think,
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, but you introduced me to that, and I was like, I never looked back from that. I love the series, I really do. I like all of them for what they are, and but that first one, man, that terrified me. I was shaken after watching that the first time. I was like, what the hell did I just see here?
yeah,
So very effective. Bruce Campbell's iconic in that role as Ash. What's left to be said about it? The other one I'd say it's actually not 80s. We got to put the original George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead in there.
oh yeah,
The
nice,
mother of all zombie films. I
yeah,
think you just have to have it. It's, you know, I mean, here there's so much underlying text what Romero tried to do in many of his films
yeah,
about society in general. And this one is about, how we we congregate to these places, like malls and stuff, society in general, uh, goods and services,
Mhm.
and even undead, they still congregate there. So
Yeah,
something to be said about
this was
how we,
important to them, so they come back. Like if
yeah,
it ever
uh,
happens, our listeners will be listening to us. They'll come back as zombies and they'll want to go find heavy metal horror on YouTube. I
that's
get
right. Yeah, and you're welcome. But I think
it.
that it's a subtle, it's a thing about capitalism in general, in society in general,
Yeah,
and what he's trying to go for with that. And it's just
yeah.
so, when you first saw it when you're younger, you're like, you don't think none of it. But when you dive deeper and you're getting older and adult, and you're like, yeah, yeah, I see
Hmm.
all those signs, those things are in there.
Hmm.
So it's a classic.
Nice. Um, I want to mention one that we both saw that I think does very similar to The Haunting. It does a lot with a little, with camera direction, with sound and suggestion. Last Shift. But remember, yeah,
Yeah,
such a good movie. It's
good.
on. I don't know if it's on if it's on Tubi or something like that.
Might be. Yeah, it's
Really like low budget, but man alive, the sense of creepiness that builds up and the subtle things, sound, light, a little bit of movement.
yeah.
Um, and this story just builds and builds, and a really, really creepy, low budget movie that totally surprised me. I think you as well
Hmm.
when we
Yeah.
watched it.
I think I'd be ashamed to not put Curse of the Demon in there or Night of the Demon.
Oh yeah,
God, I mean,
yeah.
that creature, that demon,
Yeah, I'd
it's
love that.
scary.
Yeah,
It's
I want a
scary,
figure. I want like a figure of that.
right?
Someone make
Yeah,
that.
me too. Me
McFarlane
too.
Toys,
Please.
somebody make the demon.
Oh man,
Um,
talk about a great movie. Basically, you guys haven't saw it. I'll give you a quick synopsis. Psychologist called over from the States to England to debunk this cult leader and his followers on demonic activity and stuff like that. Basically, he gets entranced in this whole whirlwind of stuff going on over there, and I think he but partly believes but doesn't believe. And at the end, basically, the cultist gets it for what it's worth. But it's
yeah,
fantastically directed, great
and
acting.
the performances are
The
great.
demon's effective. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
Well,
say anything
I
about it. We
know
love it.
the director did not want to put the demon in there. He was really pissed because he just wanted to leave it to the
Hmm.
imagination. Uh, but I like the demon in there.
Yeah.
I think it's really creepy. And I remember watching it the first time I watched that, I watched it on like a Super 8 movie we rented from the library. It was like a 6-minute version of it. I think it was black and white, or no, it was black and white because the movie is, but I think it was silent. And I remember my cousin coming over. We had his projector and went to the library, and then hanging up a sheet on my window, over my curtains, and watching the movie that way. And
Yeah.
I was like maybe 5 or 6. Still really, really creepy. And I love the movie to this day, especially the longer version. You get the
Yeah,
English
me
version.
too. Me too, bud.
It's a little bit longer. No, I totally get it. Um, all right. Another movie that is, I think, quintessential for Halloween, Trick or Treat.
I
Uh,
was gonna on my list. Yep.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Trick or Treat is so much fun. You have this
Yep.
series of interconnected stories, this ongoing kind of story and twists that you don't expect. And
Hmm.
then this is a movie that if you've not seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. I think you deserve to see it. The movie deserves a fresh viewing without being
Yep.
spoiled, but you're really going to have a good time. This is one of those fun movies that has some creepy moments to it and moments that are like really kind of silly. But a really effective low budget horror film that is still relevant and still good years later.
Speaking of that, on fun films like that, Cabin in the Woods.
Hmm.
That's another great one.
Yeah.
I love that. Unfortunately, you don't get to see. There's multiple creatures in it. They basically break out of their holding cells and just obliterate everybody. But I'd like to see. I would have loved to see more of the creatures, I guess.
Yeah,
And
it happens a lot. It's the big money shot at the end. Yeah, as
right,
they come in. But the build up, it's funny. It's you get that
fun.
tongue in cheek fun. It's nice seeing Chris Hemsworth in this other role, and then
Yeah,
there's a lot of good gore effects. I mean, it's a really fun movie.
fun movie. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, a movie I think is probably one of the most gorgeous Halloween movies made. Um, we've talked about another one of his movies, Beetlejuice, Sleepy Hollow. I think is just a sumptuous looking movie.
it really is.
The set design, the atmosphere, the
The
lighting,
effects,
yeah, the
everything.
effects are great. The kind of the sepia, almost like a dead, washed out look of the film, and Christopher Lee, Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci. I mean, the cast is really great. It is so much fun. Uh,
And I like
and-
when they,
oh,
that opening sequence is you talk about great, how the look of it, but he got the kind of mist above like the field or like that, and gallop along that first victim of the headless
mhm.
horseman, and it's just like, but it's so effective from the looking at the side view to the field and all that fog or mist is above that and everything, and just the
Yeah.
lighting with it, perfect. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the movie is it's a beautiful movie to watch, and
absolutely.
yeah, it's gorgeous. So I definitely with that. Another atmospheric movie that looks great, but the looks are better than the actual movie in a lot of places. Silent Hill.
Yeah,
I really like Silent Hill.
yeah.
And the cop is she was on Walking Dead. She's
Oh yeah,
yeah, the police officer. I forget her
yep.
name. Lori
Lori,
Holden. Lori Holden.
Laura Holden. Yeah,
Lori, yeah, she's really great as the cop. And there's some really dark elements to this, but the buildup is really good, and it follows the creepiness of the video game. You know, you get a lot of those elements, and it's better than the movies that came after.
yeah.
I wanted to still want a little bit more, but there are some moments that are genuinely unsettling. When that big siren goes off, it's like, oh
Uh,
God damn it, I hate that. Everything kind of turns dark. Then the big bucket head creature comes and dragging that giant sword, like, oh Jesus, that's like from the video game. So
yeah.
they really do a good job in that. Um, and it is generally unsettling. Like moments from the game, they have these like scenes because I love the Silent Hill games, especially the second one. Second one is like fucking nightmare fuel, and sometime you gotta come over. We gotta play that, and
Yeah.
but yeah. So Silent Hill.
Oh, on that kind of atmospheric kind of you're talking about there and creepy as hell. Um, Sinister.
Oh
I'd be amiss
yeah,
not to put the original Sinister. That is outstanding. I mean, that
yes.
is just um talk about movies that scared the shit out of me first time I watched it. I was just like, wow, that creeped the hell out of me. It
Hmm.
were all the right things. Basically, writer moves in horror writer, no, crime writer moves his family in this house where murders have occurred, unbeknownst to the rest of the family, and starts discovering these reels, these barbecue 1979 or pool party this, and this demon shows up in each one, and basically, you don't see he sees a demon subtly, but basically it takes over the kids, and one of the kids actually kills the family each one, and it's just there's some shocking like right at the beginning
Hmm.
the tree hanging scene,
Yeah,
family, and I'm like, oh my god, but it's disturbing, it's unsettling. Ethan Hawke does a stellar performance,
yeah,
um,
yeah. It's
and
got
so
a
yeah,
lot of spooky moments.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great film.
yeah. It's excellent. It's very good. Um, Another one I really like. We just actually just did the episode on Unsane Radio about it. Really creepy, and it has multiple levels of horror and layers of horror. The Descent.
Oh, absolutely.
Super effective movie. Uh, if you are claustrophobic, please watch this movie. Alone in the dark, wrap pillows tightly around you. Uh, yeah, a lot of different horror here, and the film is really bloody, and you have the layers of horror of like remembering and mourning death. You have the horrors of spelunking and being the claustrophobic, the small space, as
Mm,
Stephen King would
fuck that.
say. And then
Yeah,
you got the creatures, the monsters, which are also really creepy and scary. And the cast, Natalie Mendoza, who plays Juno, our favorite, the
Yeah,
very
yeah,
stretchy Juno.
yeah.
She said that they didn't see the creatures until the very first time they were on set, like when they came in, when the first scene, when they got
So
attacked by them. They had
that's
not seen.
authentic. Yeah, the
So
reaction.
some of that reaction was she goes, she about Peter Pants when she saw them, and so
Wow.
some of the reaction was very much like that. They just said after that they never felt comfortable around them because they were just so creepy.
Ooh,
Um, the film doesn't make sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a horror film. It doesn't have to,
right.
but it's effective and it's really got a really dark, fucking bleak ending. Uh, great,
Jesus, yeah,
great movie.
great
The
movie.
Descent.
I'm going to choose 1979's I'd Be Amiss to Not Say It, Salem's Lot.
Oh yeah.
I love that. I never get tired of it. It's still, to me, holds the test of time. Still a little long in the tooth, but at the same time, like we grew up 70s, we don't mind the journey.
Right.
And there's so many iconic horror moments in that film
Yeah.
that are terrifying, truly terrifying. And the look of the vampire is scary as hell.
It's Nosferatu. Yeah.
Nosferatu, yeah.
Yeah.
But man, the way the makeup, the eyes on him, everything, the
Yeah.
fangs, and then child outside the window scratching the glass, the guy teacher rocking back and forth, and,
Yeah.
look at me, it's like
Yeah.
that kind of shit. Just and the lady in the hospital, Danny, Danny boy, she's a vampire. It's like fuck me. There's so many
Yeah.
fuck me moments in that film that it still works on me to this day. It still scares me. So
Yeah.
Salem's Lot.
It's great. I think another really creepy movie that it doesn't it it's a good watch. I have to be really in the mood for it because it kind of goes off the rails in places. The Mist. Um,
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
like
got to
it.
be in the mood.
Yeah, exactly. I love the beginning. I love when the
Mhm.
creatures come down. I love that
I hate
terrifying
the
stuff.
fucking end. I hate the end because I
Oh,
bawled
the
my
end
eyes
is
out when
my
I first
favorite
saw
part
it.
of the movie. It's like I was so jealous. Like, oh God damn it, that is the perfect end to a movie. Oh man, I just that was like a boner fuel
I
right
cried
there.
my eyes out, man.
Yeah, it's so bleak. It's
Uh,
like heartbreaking. Like, oh my God, as a viewer, I'm like, oh man, my heart is crushed. As a writer,
right,
I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous.
perfect. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And I love the creature design. It's Lovecraftian. It's terrifying.
yeah.
I wanted more of that. King focuses on like the human drama and
The human
humans.
horror.
Yeah, the human horror of the zealously religious and things like that, and that part
Right.
kind of strays away from me. Give me the more of the monsters and the creepy stuff. Like when they go to
Mm,
the store next, across the couple stores down to get some supplies, and that so creepy because those like
yeah,
spider things like shoot like acid or something like oh fuck. It's not just they're creepy spiders. Yeah, they're gonna shoot acid. Of course they are.
yeah.
The little webbing is gonna come right down to slice right through your leg. Like, yes, of course it is. Um,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. The Mist is a really very effective movie.
I'm gonna throw another one in there. The maybe an underrated film, The Void, very Lovecraftian as well.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you must.
Okay,
Basically, it's about
don't
uh
spoil it now.
I'm not gonna spoil too much. I'm
Okay,
gonna synopsis. Basically, this hospital people are entrapped in there. This cult's on the outside trying to get in, but what they don't know, there's a twist. There's somebody already in the inside, and it goes from there. But there's very Lovecrafty, almost like John Carpenter thing kind of things in their creatures. It's just, and it's terrifying. It truly is a terrifying watch. So, The Void.
all right, excellent. I got one more movie, then a couple series, then I'm ready to get out of here and celebrate
Sure, bud.
Halloween. Um, the last movie on my list is maybe we wouldn't think of it necessarily for Halloween, but I think it's just such a good movie. World War Z.
Yeah,
I think the zombie genre
good movie.
has worn itself out. It's jumped the
Yeah, it's
shark a
jumped the
long time
shark. It's
ago.
definitely, yeah.
I'm tired of it. But World
Yep.
War Z, it has the soundtrack is very much like Tubular Bells. It's got that weird kind of and like The Fog. It sounds very similar to John
True.
Carpenter's score.
True.
Um, and but I just really love that film. I'm not a big fan of the running zombies, the rage zombies, the ones that can
Yeah.
chase you down.
28 days later shit. Yeah, all that.
Yeah, I can't stand 28 Days Later. It's just such a I just can't stand it. But I really love how terrifying these zombies are, like when they jump off of buildings at you, and then they just keep
Yeah,
on trying to go. That's the one thing. Like when these
incessant.
zombies fall 100 feet, they should pop, just
Yeah.
explode. They shouldn't be
Yeah.
getting back up and chasing
When
after you.
you
If they
take a
have
bite out of
broken legs, they shouldn't be able to like chase after you. But there is
it.
so
Exactly.
much in this movie that is good, intense, and scary.
Yeah.
And it's got Tulip from Preacher, who,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
one of my
Okay.
girlfriends.
Hmm.
Yeah. Hey, if you're
She's my
watching,
right-hand girl.
I saved that for special times. Um,
Yeah,
we'd love to have you on the show. So,
yeah.
come on down.
We'll
Uh,
sock it to you. Like I suck it
yeah, that's right. Hand it
to
to me. So
Suck it
there's
to
my
you.
list of movies. Do you have any more movies that you'd like to contribute to the list?
Oh, one other one, and we failed. I can't believe we both failed. Exorcist 3.
Oh,
Got to throw
yeah,
it there.
yeah, yeah.
Truly
Uh,
terrifying.
really good
Um,
police procedural. Yeah.
yep, yep. So Exorcist
Supernatural
3.
thriller. Yeah, very good.
But yeah,
Still
buddy.
has that shot. And did you ever see the Exorcist TV show?
Yeah, very good.
They made that homage to Exorcist 3. And that
Right.
one episode, I'm like, and I saw it, I'm like, this is Exorcist 3. This is Exorcist 3. I know it. And it did it. I'm
Right.
like, yeah. I'm like, oh,
That's so good.
yeah.
Yeah,
I had
and
to
I'm
get
spent.
I had to get
Yeah,
a new sock on that one.
right.
Um,
Or I'm going to tell about you were going to go on about TV series quickly about
sure.
some series.
Yeah.
Well, you said Exorcist. I'm going to say From MGM Plus.
From?
Basically, it's like the long, yeah, From.
Hmm.
Basically, so good. It's basically the longest Twilight Zone episode you ever be in.
Oh,
Basically, it feels like that feel. People come to this town, they can never leave. But at
okay.
night, they have to be inside, protected by these vigils, these symbols, or whatever. Everything has to be closed because these people look like people. But if you let them in or anything, they'll rip you, literally rip these people apart,
Oh,
like
nice.
degut them, everything.
Oh, that
It
sounds
is
fun.
really, really well done.
All
So
right.
highly recommend From. Season 3
Nice.
is just about or just started. No, it starts
Okay.
tomorrow night, I think. So
Nice. All
yeah,
right. And I've got a couple series here. I'll want to put them in the order of scariness, the least to most. Um, the first one I think is just a really good, fun story to watch is The Perfect Storm. Stephen King miniseries about Linoge, who comes in and give me what I want, and I'll go away. Really
yeah.
excellent
Oh, Storm of
acting.
the Century. Storm of the Century. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, not Perfect Storm. Yeah, that's the one about the fisherman. Yes,
Yeah.
Storm of the
So
Century.
good.
Yes, Storm of the Century. Yes, thank you, Chop. Yes, Storm of the Century. Really creepy, and Colm Feore does an amazing job as Linoge. And
Amazing.
yeah, just such a really and it's a nice, evenly paced. It was made for TV, so you kind of get the beats, when the beats are coming, but
Right.
it's still really effective for a TV series. I thought it was really good.
Really good.
Yeah. The second one, I think, which is definitely creepier, Midnight Mass, which I absolutely loved that
Love
series.
that series.
Um, you know, I'm an apostate, but I would want that priest to be my priest. If I had to go talk to a priest, I want him. I believe that he was a priest. This main character, like I want him on the show because he was so convincing and so good and compassionate and loving and all those things. But I absolutely loved it. So well done. I
But
hated
he's a
the
dirty
end.
bloodsucker.
Well, that
Yeah. Well, you
yeah,
had that antithesis, right? Yeah,
yeah, well,
almost like
because
there's a battle. There was represented by battle of faith right there as
well,
well.
when he well, what he believed, what he was seeing, is an angel.
Right. All right.
So,
Right.
right, and like that, I loved the way they framed it as there's an angel. Like, okay, that's
Right.
brilliant.
Such
Yeah,
a brilliant series.
yeah, so good. And then the last one I think is a really moving series, The Haunting of Hill House. I thought was just brilliant, so
Flanagan just
effective.
knocks it out of the
Right.
park,
I
man.
know his other ones, and he has another one too that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so good and consistent in what he does. And this is and it plays along if you know the story, it plays along like in The Haunting, but we follow the lives of this family and the kids and you see their trauma. And that's what makes the story so deep and so personal and so utterly at times
Compelling.
gut-wrenching and
Yeah.
compelling is their trauma and them reliving their past. And this is what has made them who they are today. And they still carry it. Like they just can't get rid of it. Um, and some really just scary moments, and it's beautifully shot. Yeah, mesmerizing, totally engaging. It's one of those ones that's so good you want to binge it, but you shouldn't. You should just enjoy the edging, enjoy watching it, just slowly piece it out. You got a whole month to watch scary stuff. You can watch
I,
this like every couple days. Yeah, The Haunting of Hill
I
House.
think another one, I'm just going to throw out just one more, and
Yeah.
then I'm going to, well, Stephen King's It, not the miniseries, but the like 2018
Okay.
version. It
Okay.
was terrifying, just absolutely fucking terrifying, and more true, I think, to his novel than what the miniseries was.
Yeah.
So,
I don't find it terrifying. I
oh,
don't.
okay,
It's one of those ones where I've seen both versions.
right,
I didn't watch part two of it because I've the remake does a really good job of telling the story, but I don't like the story.
okay.
I'm tired of the trope of the bullies in Stephen King. I'm tired of
Uh,
that. I
Stand
see it.
by Me stuff,
Yeah, I'm see it.
the
It's
body. Yeah,
like Jesus, you're a good writer. I'm not saying you know a lot about writing, but
yeah,
you go back to the same three or four buckets to pull from over and over and over again.
I
And I'm
get
just
you.
like, I just get tired of it, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
But I'm going to say to our viewers, I'm going to say, please put all your comments, suggestions in our comment section. Let us know what you watched during
Yeah.
October, Halloween time, some of your favorite films, and maybe some ones we missed. We'd be great to hear from you.
Yeah, there was a oh, there was what is it? Another show that I'm gonna bring up one more time. Oh, oh, it was
Speaking of
called
shows, I'll just throw out The Twilight Zone and Night Gallery, the originals. There you go. Night
okay.
Stalker. We throw that in there.
Night, oh yeah, Night Stalker.
Oh, yeah, Kolchak.
Yeah, Night Stalker is brilliant. So much
Yep.
fun. So good. I love the zombie is a
Yeah.
really
Oh,
creepy one.
sure.
Channel Zero,
Yes.
with
Good.
Candle Cove. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Great.
I thought that clicking tooth monster was just so disturbing looking, like a monster made of teeth, like, oh fuck. And see, now I like burying little Easter eggs and little references to things in my books. And in my first book, I have a reference to Candle Cove in the library in the children's section. It's kind of like the Adventure Cove, and that was my nod to
Okay.
Candle Cove. Like, yes, just like Adam's Pharmacy with two D's. Uh, things like that. Like little tiny things for me that no one else is gonna pick up. Some people get it, but no one's got Adventure
Yeah.
Cove. Like,
No one
no
gets it.
one's getting out of here now.
Yeah. Great,
Well,
buddy.
Halloween is to have fun. Go out trick or treating, go get some candy, sit down and watch some scary stuff, some fun stuff. Just have a good time. And yeah, and please, like Chop said, if you got recommendations for us, maybe something we didn't list, some of your favorite Halloween movies, please
Something you
let
want
us
us to
know.
review in the future, please.
Yeah, yeah. We love watching new movies. We love something that's going to scare us or spook us. And there's the challenge. Spook us, scare us.
It's on
So
you. Yeah.
that's right. Anything else before we head out and celebrate and get some candy?
Nothing else, buddy.
I'm trick or
Great
treating
show.
as a
Good time.
fat old guy. That's what I'm trick or treating as this year. It'll be a stretch.
I'm a skinny diabetic, so I'll have the sugar. Can I have your sugar-free candy, please?
That's right. Don't eat too much. They have a laxative
Yeah.
effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, bud.
Hey, you can find Heavy Metal Horror Podcast on unsaneradio.com. Listen to full episodes or download to your device. You can find us on Facebook, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast. On Instagram, look for Montag Lewis, one word. Our YouTube page, Heavy Metal Horror Podcast, if you're watching. That's where you're at. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd like our show, tell them about us. This has been Montag, Master of Halloween.
Chop top.
And you are watching and listening and
Listening to
experiencing heavy
Halloween.
metal. Oh.
Halloween. Yeah.
This is Doug Helvering, and you have been listening to Heavy Metal Horror, the best podcast that you've never heard before.